Hello, friends. Let me share with you a folk tale, a Jewish folk tale. Once upon a time, not that long ago, there lived a young man who had all of the ingredients necessary for success. He was young, he was good-looking, he was wealthy, he was successful in business, he had political connections, he was charming, he was Jewish. Well, all of these wonderful ingredients for success are also ingredients for going off the path. And being that he was blessed with all of these wonderful things, he soon lived up to the proverbial being the black sheep of the Jewish community. All of the traditions were discarded. He developed a reputation of being a libertine and a free thinker, and he enjoyed that reputation. And though he was popular as a human being, as a Jew, he did not rate very high in the Jewish community. He was known simply as the sinner. So let's give him a name, Chavshi. This Chavshi did not make an issue of his Judaism. He barely remembered that he was a Jew, but one day it came to the forefront. One of his friends said, "Hey, Chavshi, are you a betting man?" And Chavshi says, you know me better than to ask. I'll bet. But the odds have to be good. He says, well, I have very good odds. I've heard that in the Jewish community, there lives a learned rabbi who has a reputation of bringing back sinners, even incorrigible sinners. I bet you that if you were to meet him, he would bring you back to your religion and your fold. Chavshi laughs. Don't be ridiculous. Man, people have tried. I'm a person non grata. I don't even exist in the Jewish community. He says to them, why not visit the rabbi? I'll bet 10 to 1 that he's successful. Well, his response was, I'll up that and I'll prove it to you that he's not successful and can't be successful. Tell me his name and I'll visit him. And sure enough, he gets the name and address, and one fine evening, knocks on the door and walks into the rabbi, and he says, Rabbi, my name is Chavshi, have you ever heard of me? And he thinks for a minute, he says, yeah, you're the one that's developed a reputation of being the black sheep of the community. He said, that's me, all right. How can I help you? He said, well, you've developed a reputation of bringing back the sinners. Here I am. Bring me back. Let's see if you could do it. So the rabbi says, well, my reputation is for sinners, but you have to be a big sinner for me to get involved, because for small sinners, I could recommend someone else. He says, Rabbi, there ain't bigger sinner than me. There isn't one in the 10 Commandments that I keep. I don't keep the dietary laws. I don't respect the sanctity of marriage. Basically, if it's good and it feels good, I do it. And the rabbi says, again, I told you, I only deal with very great sinners. And there's nothing that you've told me that makes you a very great sinner. Exasperated, he says, what more do I have to do? I have to commit a murder in front of you? I'm telling you, I've never done a good deed in my life. So let's see, can you bring me back? He says, well, it's not true what you just said. You're actually every day of your life doing a good deed. And you haven't committed every sin in the book. He says, Rabbi, tell me one sin that I haven't committed and I'll do it right now. He says, well, you might want to reconsider, because there's a commandment to take care of health. And there's a terrible sin that if you commit it, you lose your share in the world to come. That's the sin of suicide. So my friend, you're not such a great sinner. You're still living. The choice is yours. That's where the folk tale ends. There are a lot of different endings. You can make up your ending. They would all be right. Let me tell you a lesson that I got from this folk tale. The rabbi was basically telling this fellow, you're not as bad as you think. The fact of the matter is you're defining yourself of what you're not doing. but you actually should define yourself by what you are doing. How many times have you met a person, or, well, I could speak because I'm in the rabbinate. I've met people, and I just invite them to an event or to a service, and the response is, Rabbi, I'd love to come, but I'm just a bad Jew. I don't keep the Sabbath. I marry out of my faith. I mean, you don't want me. I'm just a bad Jew. And I often wonder, why does he define himself by what he does not do? He's a fine Jew. He prays in his own language. He believes in God. He's honest in business. He's respectful to his parents as a paragon. People could look up to him, how to respect parents. He's always a decent person. He's charitable. He's good-natured. He has a wonderful family. How could he say, I'm a bad Jew? There is no such thing as a bad Jew. Oh, yeah, I know. He's talking about that he perhaps does not keep the laws of kosher. Okay, I'm not excusing that, but are you defined by what you don't do? Maybe you should say, Rabbi, I would love to come. I mean, I love the Jewish people. I support the state of Israel. I give charity to the Orthodox. I just find it difficult to go to a service. And then we could talk, we could negotiate, we could try to make it a little bit better. You see, when the fellow says, Rabbi, there's nothing good about me, I'm the greatest sinner, his response was, if you're alive, you're already doing a mitzvah. If you're alive and you're taking care of your health, you're already being connected to the divine. Because God wants us to live. He wants us to be healthy. And He gave us a purpose for living. So you're doing 2 out of 3. You're living, you're enjoying life, which is another way of enjoying what God has given you. All you need now is a little bit fine-tuning about the meaning of life. They say about Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, one of the great rabbis who taught ethical perfection. And he said one of his most powerful lessons he learned from a tailor. Once he came back from a lecture quite late at night, very fatigued, and before he goes to his own home, he notices that the next door neighbor has a candle burning. This is the age before electricity. He was surprised. Why is the candle burning? So he walks closer. The window was open. The blinds were not drawn. And he sees the tailor sewing. This surprised him. Late at night, everyone is sleeping. So he knocked on the door very lightly. And immediately the tailor heard it and opened up the door, saw the rabbi. He says, Rabbi, how can I help you? He says, I just couldn't stop. But notice, everyone is sleeping. Why are you still up working so late? And he said, Rabbi, as long as there's light in the candle, I must use it. Now, he obviously meant it. He was a poor man. So if he had a candle, he was going to use that candle until it burned to the end. He wasn't going to blow it out and then try to rekindle it. Who knows? But Rabbi Yisrael took it as a lesson to him. As long as I have my candle burning, which is the soul of man, is the candle of God, I must mend, I must fix, I must perfect. So, friends, if you're listening to this YouTube, you're doing a mitzvah. I know I already said that line in the past, but then I said because you're doing me a favor, actually the mitzvah is you're living. Yep, every breath you're doing something which is what God wants you to do. So listen here. Listen to me. Listen to your friend. We are in this together. We should not define ourselves by what we did not do yesterday or what we might, God forbid, not do today. We should define ourselves as good, decent, not only human beings, but good, decent Jewish people that are filled with tremendous amount of virtue. And what we need is a bisala seichel, a little bit of brains, and a lot of willpower to continue to grow. So, shalom on your journey. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful life. Shalom.